today on MYOD Podcast, we're diving into real-life money moves, marathon mindsets, and how to survive the chaos of the city of Dar es Salaam. We also got into financial literacy and discussed things like why you must have a bank account, why lending money to friends can destroy relationships, and why your emergency fund could be your best friend during a financial crisis. So from banking basics to surviving the city, this one is real, raw, and relevant. If you watch this episode until the end, your wallet, your peace of mind, and maybe your friendships will thank you. Our guests of today are Abigail, who is the Citizenship and Events Manager for Absa Bank, and Wilson Nkya, who is a film and TV producer. With that being said, please like, subscribe, and enjoy the episode. Abigail, how are you doing?
I'm great, thank you for having me.
Yeah, you told me you are a marketing representative.
Yes, I work in
Absa Bank.
Yes.
Why are you here?
Well, I'm here with very great news. As I think I've explained before, we have days away from the Absa Dar Marathon.
Okay.
This will take place in May 4th at MYOD grounds.
Okay.
So it is exciting times, and this is our 5th year for sponsoring this marathon.
Okay.
And we are really ready to paint the town red.
I have never heard of Absa Dar Marathon.
Really?
Yeah, I always hear about Kiri Marathon.
Yes,
or
I can imagine.
different types of marathons. So a lot of people don't even know what a marathon is. So can you explain what is a marathon and why is it important for people to join the Dar City Marathon by Absa Bank?
A marathon, I believe, as my opinion and how I would define it, is basically a race that brings people together.
Okay.
And for this specific race, it's a social race. It's not like the one that you'd hear, you have international races and it's competition. This is more of a social race.
Yeah.
And we have our organizers called the Runners Club.
Yeah.
Who they are a social club that has different clubs from different areas in Dar es Salaam.
Yeah.
So basically, this brings together your athletes, your professional runners, but also your seasonal runners, people who just run for fun, and then the people who just want to be and stay active. Okay. And I think that's the beauty of this race, right? Unlike the races that you've mentioned that are renowned, and probably they're renowned because it's a competition, end of the day, you really have prominent runners take part. Okay. This is a very social marathon. Okay. So anyone, can take part and really enjoy the experience.
So basically, this marathon is for normal people like me and you,
yes.
Not for Eliud Kipchoge's and stuff like that.
No. Though they're welcomed if they want to take part, but no, this is a social run.
Okay.
Social race.
For someone who wants to join the Absa Marathon, how do you register?
So there are 2 ways of registering, and I would really, really call on people and ask them to follow our pages. But there are the 2 ways of registering. The one is via the website, www.runnersclub.com. But the second one is via Lipa number, right? And you'll see the Lipa number in our social media pages. Once you pay the registration fee, which is 40,000, you take your transaction details, your full name, and the category that you want to run. So there are 3 categories: 21 kilometers, 10, and 5 kilometers, and you send it to a number that is also in the social media details. And then in terms of a collection kit, where you can collect your kit once you've done the payment, is at Mlimani City. So we do have a booth station there.
From what I know, the meaning of the word marathon is someone running for 42 kilometers straight. And then there is half marathon, which is 21 kilometers. And you talked about 5 and 10 kilometers. Will there be a 42 kilometers race?
No. So this is a half marathon.
Okay.
So it's from 21. So we do have 21
Yeah.
10 and 5 kilometers. So it's 3 categories. So this is not a full marathon. When you have a full marathon, then you have 42 kilometers.
Okay. Apart from me coming there to run, what else am I going to benefit from joining this marathon?
So from Absa,
Yeah.
we have made a provision for our clients and our participants.
Okay.
We do have a booth stationed at the grounds,
Yeah.
and we have a dedicated team that will be there to address or pick up any comments, feedback from a banking perspective. But apart from that, I think really, people do come to the race not only to run, they also come to have fun. Mm-hmm. And I would say this year's marathon has that aspect to it. Okay. So we will have full-on entertainment at the grounds after the race. So after the formalities is done, people have their medals, they're refreshing, drinking, eating. We'll also have some music. A lineup of DJs will be there, and the entertainment will go on until the day ends.
You said there will be a lineup of DJs. Is there a lineup of artists that will perform? Because I like music.
So this year we don't have a lineup of artists, but I take that as a challenge for us to make a provision for the next coming marathon.
I think you still have a chance. There's a trending artist right now. He's singing Singeli. I'm sure you've heard of him. It's called Dogo Patel.
Yeah, I've heard of him and I've seen his interviews. Yeah, it's very interesting. We'll see. I'm not promising anything, but we will definitely try and explore and see it as an option.
Okay. Absa is a main sponsor of the Absa Dar City Marathon. So why should people care about a bank promoting a marathon and fitness?
As a bank, we care for the whole being of people, right? Yeah. And we believe that financial health and physical health and wellness go hand in hand, right? If you're not healthy or well, you cannot be able to make sound decisions in your financial life or aspect. Okay. So this is not us just sponsoring a race because of it, but it's rather as trying to support and promote community endurance, community perseverance, community wellness through the race, right? Mm-hmm. And then in the end, supporting once the community is well, in the end they can make mindful decisions, long-term decisions as well. So I think from that aspect is why Absa as a bank, we have supported the race for 5 years. And of course, we have our brand promise that we're very proud of called Your Story Matters. And this really looks at, again, the holistic view of our people. And, this race is quite unique in the sense that some of the proceedings, right, the funds that we are contributing, and of course, we will also donate some funds, and on all this together will be going to support the Mnazi Mmoja Hospital as a medical aid. So there's an extension of a community engagement, which is part of our corporate citizenship strategy.
We all know that Absa is a financial institution, and as a bank, your main product is selling loans. Then what do you benefit from sponsoring a marathon like this?
Well, I believe a marathon like this has a lot of avenues for us to win, right? Okay. From a branding perspective, as a brand, right, to be associated with such an event means that we look like we care for the community, right? As I said, the marathon has a lot of aspects to it. Apart from the race, there's that community engagement to it, which shows or demonstrates Absa as a caring partner of the society. Yeah. But apart from that, it also showcases Absa that we care about the wellness and well-being of the community and the society. Mm. Also, from a touristic point of view, we also showcase that we do highlight the iconic city Dar Es Salaam, right? Because as you know, the race, the route also passes alongside significant iconic sites. For example, the Tanzanite Bridge, the Skari Monument. So these are the scenery that the runners and participants will be able to look at, but we'll also be showcasing from through our platforms, our social media and the rest. And also, I think lastly, from a business point of view, this race will bring, we're expecting around 3,200 participants this year. 3,200 participants at the marathon. So you can imagine this is a pool of people that that we can definitely tap into, that we could have a conversation, that we can engage and showcase our products, showcase our solutions that will cater to their needs. So it is an opportunity for us from that angle.
Do we only have Absa Dar Marathon, or we have other banks also promoting marathons?
For this particular race, we're the exclusive banking partner. So it's just us, yes. There are other partners, but not bank.
And what's the financial equivalent of running a marathon? Is it saving, investing, or just side hustles?
In my opinion, I would say investing. Why? Because I believe that similar to running, or rather similar to finances and banking, you would want to, it requires discipline, right? For example, if you're saving, or if you're doing your cardio or whatnot. So in my opinion, I would say investing, simply because I look at running as a discipline that one would put upon themselves, right, when you train for the race. So it's similar to investing, right? Basically, you're putting yourself in check or preparing yourself for the race that is to come. But also in the long term, it's for your own health, right? And you can imagine one of the objectives of the race is promoting or rather raising awareness in the prevention of non-communicable diseases, which most of the time the causative is not staying fit. So in the long run, if you want to be healthy, you'd want to start, staying fit early on. And I think right now you can see there's a lot of that as being a lifestyle. Even online, you see a lot of people, influencers, also staying fit. So I would say it's investing for yourself, for a better future, for a healthy future.
Let's say Absa Bank had to train someone for 6 months, just like a marathon, right? How would that plan look like?
Okay, for 6 months.
Yes.
So I'll break it for each month. So I'll start maybe month 1.
Okay.
I would say that person should assess themselves to see how is their financial health, right? How much money do they have in the bank? What's their current situation? Do they have debt? Have they taken any loan? Right. And then once that stage is done, so I move to month 2, where I'll say that if this person has some money that they can set aside as an emergency fund, like a safety net for them, so that will be the second month to mobilize that amount and put it on the side. And then on the 3rd month is really to save, no matter how much it is. Because we all know at the end of the day, in this perspective, the goal is the marathon, the race, right? Which I believe in this context will need money for us to invest. So save, no matter how much, even if it's 1,000, even if it's a G. And then after that is C now, and probably in the 3rd month, parallel to saving, I would say have a look at on what to invest. Right, to give you that buffer, and to really help you meet your goals. So invest, get to know what are the current affairs, what are the products that you can tap into. If it's, for example, your bonds, your fixed deposits and whatnot. And then month 4, right? start investing.
Okay.
Right? Start investing, put the money that you had put aside while you're saving is the money that you use to now invest in the things that you have identified.
Okay.
And then month 5, I would say, is really just educate yourself on financial literacy, right? Some things we do take for granted, but you'll be surprised on the things that you might not know. Me, myself, as a banker, I still am learning a lot.
Yeah.
I think by month 6, we probably have at a good pace.
Yeah.
And now you can just look back and see what you've done.
Yeah.
What you've done so far. If it makes sense. Are there any lessons learned? Are there any setbacks that you can overcome? And of course, as Absa will always be there, every step that you make to make sure that you meet your goal. So we'll be there for you hand in hand.
You talked about something very important called an emergency fund. We always insist people before they start investing, first of all, they should set aside an emergency fund, which is always like 6 to 12 months worth of your monthly expenses. So what's the importance of having an emergency fund?
I think it gives you that confidence on what you're trying to do, on your goals, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes, especially when it comes to the financial setting, things might not go the way you have expected them to.
Yeah.
And there are other things that are not in your control. For example, the whole Trump issue that is currently ongoing, right?
Okay.
So you'd want to have that ace card, up your sleeve, that you can always cover yourself in the event things that do not go on your way, or maybe the money that you were expecting at a particular time did not come in for you to expand your goals or to reach your goals or to move the needle. So I think it really, really gives you that caution on what you're trying to do. For the things that you can control, but also for the things that you can control as an alternative. And in the end of the day, if things turn out to go the way that you've planned, then you have extra money.
Yeah.
And that you can invest in something else that would again generate more income for you.
I've heard of a saying that banks are like gyms. So some people sign up for banks and then they end up not using their services. Probably they don't even know if those kind of services exist. So I've seen a lot of banks offer a lot of services, but most people just go to the bank to keep their money and then withdraw when they need it. So how do you ensure that people who have opened accounts with Absa Bank really use the bank accounts as you intended them to use?
That's a very interesting but fair comparison.
Yeah.
I think from Absa we take this comparison very seriously, and I think I can categorize this into two, right? To customer experience, but also convenience, right?
Okay.
And I think these are really one of the main attractors for clients and customers. So from your customer experience, I think we are top notch in the sense that we really ensure that our customer has a seamless experience throughout the banking services. But also we do have frequent communications, right, with the customer, from SMS, but also our digital, our alerts, our health alerts, but also our services and products. So we don't wait for the customer to come to the bank, right? We try our best to do push communications to let the customer know this is what we're doing, to let the customer, even if, for example, it could be even it's a public holidays, these are the branches that are open, these are the times that are open, or did you know that we're here, this is available for you? That constant communication that will help or feel or build that sentiment that, okay, Absa does care for me. And again, back to our brand promise, your story matters, and that's what is all centered to. But from also from a convenience perspective, I think there are some of the things or features that we have that I believe that really draw the customer, towards our services. So, for example, from a card point of view, we have, for example, if you want to open an account, you open the same day you get your card. You don't have to go and then come back to our branches. But also when your card has expired, you don't have to come to the branch. You can do that online and just request
anywhere in the world that I am, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And the other thing that I also wanted to highlight is that the fact that our cards, our credit cards, are really powerful. They're secured, but also our cards in that entirety can be used anywhere.
Okay.
If it's one thing that we're proud of and we can pat our shoulders for, is that our cards are used anywhere, especially for people who travel. The experience has been that our card, you not have issues of decline or anything. And if in the event that you have those issues, we have a backup team 24/7 that will support you to ensure that you have a smooth experience. So I think in those two areas, we have really, really tried to differentiate ourselves, to just not opening accounts for our customers.
What kind of cards do you offer? Is it Visa cards or MasterCards or? We
have Visa cards.
Okay.
So maybe just for context, for example, last week we did celebrate 10 years of our credit cards in the market, which is a great milestone. But we also launched 2 cards, Infinite card and business credit card. And this is for the business. So these are 2 prepositions, and after an evolution of the credit card in the market. And we're very proud about that.
I have a business, and I'm always approached by banks that are offering me money. Like, you have this business, why don't you come and get a loan from us? So a loan is a product to a bank, especially a bank like Absa Bank. So can you tell me what the most interesting way that someone has used an Absa Bank product to grow their business, such as a loan or something else?
It's a very interesting question.
Yeah.
If I can recall correctly, there's one young entrepreneur that was on the verge of growing their business, right? Okay. And I think they made their first good profit, a good amount of profit.
Yeah.
And they didn't know what to do with the money. When you make money and then you don't want to use the money, foolishly. You really want to make sure that the money is put in the right place.
Yeah.
So we did advise that entrepreneur to invest to open a fixed deposit, right, account. So they did that. But after a year, that person needed money to grow, to extend some part of their business. So they came to us and asked if they can liquidate that fixed deposit.
Okay.
So we thought it was not a good idea because it's just a year. The investment is just a year in. He hasn't really seen the benefits of the investment he's made.
Yeah.
So what we did instead is suggest that he takes an overdraft, right, which gives him 90%.
Okay.
Of access of the amount that he has. So basically what we do, we take the amount that he has invested in the fixed deposit, and then we take the 90% and we give it to him as a loan. So that amount...
Is that a loan or it's just his money that was in the account?
That's a loan, but he's using the money that he has invested in the fixed deposit as a collateral.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So he got that money, and then he was able, because he had an issue, he had a shipment that was stuck at the customs, and he really needed an out for him to expand his business.
Yeah.
So he was able to get that money, and he was able to extend that part of his business. But at the same time, he has his investment still in place through the fixed deposit. And then he was able to pay back the loan that he got from the overdraft. So it was an interesting way to kind of get money, right? But at the same time, not really losing the money that you had. Yeah.
So guys, we have a new guest who is joining us the middle of the episode. You probably have seen him online, maybe on Instagram, or you have seen him on our other podcast called It's Not That Deep podcast that was hosted by Tracy. Anyways, the guest is here, Willy Nkya. I'll let him introduce himself and then we'll proceed with the episode as always.
Thank you very much. It's such an honor being here. And I think, being such a platform, being able to share, great job here with your podcast. It's doing amazing.
Thank you. You came here by surprise. Yeah, what happened?
Well, long story short, it's just that Dar es Salaam is a city you have to be quick. You never know when opportunity might come.
Yeah.
Be ready to grab it. And this was one of those opportunities. I was like, yeah, I'm available. Why not? And again, to come speak for something that's really great, that is the Absa Dar City Marathon, which I think is something I'm very honored to be part of, but also to participate. It'll be my first time.
Yeah.
And of course, when you see a brand like Absa endorsing such a big event, why not?
Yeah. Last time we met was last year.
Yes.
And you are very slim. Like now, you look more fit. What happened to you, bro?
Life is
Were you on
nice.
steroids or something?
No. Life happens, and when life happens, you have to happen with it.
Yeah.
So I think the older you get, it's really important for you to, get in tune with your body. I just turned 30 last year.
30?
So I'm 30 years old.
Wow, third floor.
Yes, third floor. So you enter the third floor, you have to really get in touch with your body, and I think fitness comes in play.
Yeah.
And I think that's why perhaps now you're seeing me in things like the marathons and stuff, because I'm at an age where I think it's important. But again, I wish I started earlier. So I think even younger people should understand that fitness is something should be part of the lifestyle.
We all know in Dar es Salaam, people have that mindset of Hakuna Matata or YOLO. That's why you'll find people drinking recklessly or eating junk food, mishkaki, chips mayai, or whatsoever. So how do you balance between that kind of lifestyle and staying fit as you are right now?
Yeah, so I think it's important, as I said, Dar es Salaam is a city that gives you everything.
Yeah.
From like the parties, the junk food and everything.
Okay.
I think, again, it's important to understand the balance.
Yeah.
And also the thing that I do, I think, as I said, is at first I was that type, like eating anything and anything anywhere. The Swahili say kambi popote, and just like whatever I see I grab.
Yeah.
But I think it's what I realized, that as much as fun it is, but you start looking at the bigger picture, like the future. What are the future plans?
Okay.
And again, your body as well. You say your body is a temple. So what are the things that would help your body flourish? So I think that's the thing. And I think I'm glad I'm seeing a shift, that a lot of Dar es Salaam people now are being more focused, eating healthy, also going into fitness. We're seeing a lot of initiative of people. We're seeing running clubs. Like example, Absa's partner with the Runners Club, which is an initiative that allows people to jog and everything. And I think people are now becoming aware that, there's life beyond this gypsy mayai. This gypsy mayai might cost me. And yeah.
I was talking to Abigail and she said that she's going to run 5 kilometers, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you being Willy Nkya, how many kilometers are you going to run?
I'm doing 10, so I'm adding 5 to
kudos.
Abby. I'm doing 10 kilometers for now.
Why not 21?
I think, again, we're coming to the whole point of understanding your body.
Yeah.
I haven't prepared much for 21. I could do 21. I've done 21 before in several marathons, but it's just that, again, it takes practice. And again, I think just like any other initiative or any other skill, you need to stretch it, you need to practice, you need to work on it. Recently, jogging hasn't been something I've been doing a lot. So I can pull 10 vizuri, I can do them very well, but I can't do 21 because I won't be doing justice to my body.
I follow you online. You have a great page actually, and I've seen previously you are promoting Absa as an influencer.
Yes.
So why did Absa choose you to be the influencer to promote their products?
That's a good question. Maybe Abby will be. I think as Absa, they have this motto said, "Your story matters."
Yeah.
I think the thing I was doing with my content, I was sharing my story, sharing the story of my city.
Okay.
I was showcasing Tanzania. I was showcasing lifestyle in Tanzania, showcasing travel. And I think when they're looking, I would love to assume that when they're looking for somebody who could help promote or speak about the initiative that is Dar City Marathon, because as it starts, it's Dar City Marathon, meaning they're showcasing the city through the marathon. They're highlighting like monuments, history, and what makes the city the city. So I think they looked at people, and I was one of the people. Maybe they reached out and thought that I could help tell that story because, as I said, my story matters and the marathon story matters. So that's
Who reached out to you? Is it Abigail?
No.
It's not.
It's not.
Yeah.
Let's say directly, yes, it's me. Indirectly, it's me. Yeah.
I think it was last year. I was watching MYOD Ayo episode, which he did with Professor J. And one thing that Professor J said, because he was sick for a very long period of time, and one thing he said that something that contributed to his sickness was him eating very late at night and drinking very late at night, like not following a proper eating schedule. So what's your take on that? Like, you're fit right now, and as I said last year, you're very slim.
Two different people.
Yeah. So what habits contributed to you being physically fit right now?
Yeah, so we can't ignore the fact of like nutrition, like eating. And again, I do work out in the morning, early morning. So eating late and being late to like sleeping late is also something I don't do as much. I do have days where I have like work because I do events as well sometimes. So, but I think on the same take, one of the challenges is because this city moves very fast. Sometimes you forget that your stomach is important, that you come to realize it's already late.
Yeah.
And again, the chap food you can get in the street is chipsy, which is junk. So I think also because I live in a house, in a home, I do have a fridge. So understanding, like, it's good to know your schedule in a sense of, a crazy day. You can predict a crazy day. Example, there's an event. Pack food, like healthier food, that when you come home, it's not about you calling but a order quick chipsy in the street. You have food inside. And also think about, again, like as you plan your day, plan also your nutrition, like plan your meals, plan how life would look like in your stomach for that day. It's important. Drink water and all this matunda. I mean, fruits are things you can plan. You can get them, store them in the fridge. So having that plan as well is very important.
You said that Dar es Salaam moves really fast. So I remember when I was young, my dad used to wake me up at 4 a.m. in the morning, and then we just go over the road and stand by the road and just see the way people are racing their cars to go to work at 4 a.m. in the morning. So with that being said, Dar es Salaam is very fast. So what does it really mean for you guys to be a Dar person? Is it traffic? Is it hassles? Or what is it? Starting with Abigail.
Very interesting question. He has very interesting questions. I think for me, it would be just, you just have to keep it moving. I think some people, you'd find, you'd ask, what's going on? And it'll be like, we're surviving. So I think it's always moving fast / hustling / we have to make ends meet. Everyone is at their pace, and sometimes we do have times we meet, we socialize and we catch up with people, with friends, and we talk about how fast life is moving and how we have to get the money, how we have to pay the bills at the end of the month and whatnot. But at the end of the day, when the month turns, it's again reset button. We're back at it. Everyone is busy and everyone is rushing. So I think we are really a busy town, but at the same time we do get some time to unwind and relax. And again, there's a lot of things happening. You have events here and there. And then we have at the end of the year, people tend to travel, take holidays and whatnot, and then back January again. So it's like a vicious cycle. Sometimes not healthy if you do not watch out. And I think to Willy's point, being aware about, where you are in life. If you're in the third floor, how you eat, who do you socialize with, who do you let in your circle, who you talk to, and that really influences how you live. So yeah.
Coming back to you, Willy. First of all, were you born in Dar es Salaam?
No,
Yeah.
no, I was born in Arusha,
Okay.
but I grew up in Kibondo, Kigoma. So for me, I didn't experience fast-moving cars like you. I came to experience the city when I'm much older.
For people who are not from Dar, most of them, for them, what it really means to be a Dar person, it means getting scammed. Have you ever been scammed since you came to Dar es Salaam?
It's funny. I first got scammed in Mwanza. So in Dar es Salaam, I came. I'm like sharp. So I haven't yet. I hope not. But a lot of people have that. I think in Dar es Salaam, I remember there's that show. If you remember, Bongo Dar es Salaam. Dude. So for us, that's what Dar looked like.
Okay.
But personally, I haven't, and I think living in Dar has been such a great city because it's a city with a purpose. It's a city that if you have a purpose, you'll survive. If you don't, you'll get lost because it will give you everything and anything. So I think it's a city that wants you to take time to understand your focus and see how you can make it. And a lot of dreams have been made true. A lot of stories have been told of people who have succeeded in Dar es Salaam, being mine. Coming in Dar is where perhaps I think I was able to push my purpose and everything. So it's a city that, again, is fast-paced. If you just watch as you're watching cars pass, you'll see cars passing. You might not see your car passing. So it's important to understand that you come in the city. What is your purpose? What are your goals? How can you achieve that? Because this city will give you that. As it's a business capital of Tanzania, so it has everything from any sector. Think of it, it's here.
When you're in Dar es Salaam, as long as you're making money, you have to know where to put your money.
Yes.
There are a lot of people, such as, let's say, sorry guys, the Chaga tribe. Most women from the Chaga tribes, they don't use banks. They keep money under the bed or under the pillows. So where do you keep your money? Do you have a bank account?
I do, and I am a Chaga, and that's a myth. It's not true that Chaga women do that.
Hope it's Absa.
So yes, I do have a bank. I do bank, of course, with Absa.
Good answer.
And yes, I do, because again, my background, again, as you said, as a Chaga and everything, we are coming from a tribe that is known to like being hustlers, like people who are everywhere trying to start a business and everything. So with that, conversations around finance is something that you'd hear in the household when you go to Christmas. So I knew the importance of like financial sectors like Absa and how important it is to store money there in terms of like the security of it, the investment opportunities, everything that comes around the financial sector. So to me, I've been aware of the financial sector, and I understood, Komba, it's very important that you store money in like legal places and not under the bed. Yeah.
So in what ways has your Absa bank account helped you as a person since you opened it?
Yeah, so it has helped me in many ways. So example, I say I do travel and lifestyle. The good thing having a card of Absa, it allows you to do any transaction internationally. So even in any country I go to, I could still use it. So that is a lifesaver, because some banks I did have other banks before. It's typical for Tanzanians to explore before you settle. So I did try using other banks, and sometimes you face issues when you want to make international payments. When you're in another country, you're stranded. You're there in a supermarket and decline. But when you use Absa, it allows that. But also, because I'm a film and TV producer, sometimes I do international projects, and sometimes payment, it's easier when it's an international bank like Absa. That it's a brand they're aware of. It's there isn't like a lot of challenges sometimes when you bank with other banks. So that has helped me a lot in terms of like my international transfers, but also they do offer things like fixed deposit and all that. So these are things that I haven't used yet, but I think I've heard people and how they benefit from such things. Yeah.
So your Absa bank card has never declined?
It hasn't. It will decline if there's no fund. So we can't avoid the fact that the reason for it to decline is insufficient balance. But so far it has been surviving. It's been working great. Yeah.
So we talked about Dar es Salaam being so fast and electric. So as a banker yourself, would you consider Dar es Salaam as a saving account or as a current account?
As a bank, a good question.
I would say,
Yeah.
hey, I think it's a bit of both. I can't say it's either.
Yeah.
Saving, because you definitely want to, I mean, given that it's a fast pace, right, you definitely want to give some money aside, because it's a ever-changing environment. You'd hear the dollar is depleted, the dollar has risen, so you always want to have something like a safety net for yourself. But current account, because you have to expenses, right? You have expenses, as I said before, you have your bills that you have to pay. So definitely, that's why I say it's both. I can't say it's either or. I mean, unless really has a or as a bank, I think it's
both. Is there an account that gives both? No. Yeah, I would say her same answer.
I know. I was wondering, since you are a little bit buffed, I don't know, it's because you're.
I think it's jacket. I'm not that long.
I'm now interested to see how he was before.
Yeah. So I was wondering, how is your fitness routine like?
So currently, mornings, I do my best to be consistent, especially in the mornings, especially times when I know I don't have an early morning for other projects, because in film we do start very early.
Okay.
So my goal is always by 6 a.m. to at least 7:30 be at the gym, and then I have like a schedule. Example, I'm doing upper body, lower body, specific parts of my muscles. But again, I cycle, so I usually cycle to the gym every morning, back and forth. So I love cycling based on the history of my family and everything, where we loved cycling. So I do cycle that, and then that's the only time I would say fitness. I've dedicated fitness. At home, not as much as I would love to, because again, after that, the day starts and it gets really crazy after. But I would try at least do a bit of like push-ups and everything. But again, with the help of technology like these smartwatch and everything, I always try to match up the steps. Like hopefully, I've been doing good so far. Like at least get a walk at work somewhere, just walk around, try at least to match up. And when I get that congratulations, you're like, yes, I've done it. So that's a bit of my schedule.
When you're not here, we talked a bit about financial literacy with Abby. So since you came, I'm wondering, how do you manage your finances?
There's several ways. As I said before, that coming from a family that we talked about finance a lot. So for me, again, having institutions like banks, but at the same time, I am looking at also investing in things like shares, bonds, and the rest. But I think the one thing I always do, a principle, is that when I make an income, I do track all my main income in terms of like how much I made. I do have an Excel, a Google sheet that I always update. I make this so I can track how much I've made. What I'm working on now is tracking how I spend. As I said, it's a current account. You got a bill comes here, you pay. So I'm doing my best. But again, with that, I'm trying to move everything electronic, because when you do electronic payments, you don't have the pressure of tracking it then. But later, when you have time, you could just get statements and everything where you track and see how much you've spent. So now I'm trying to be more cashless, because it allows me to track and also make proper decisions, because impromptu decisions, I avoid those a lot. But again, because of that, knowing my budget and my bills, I know how much I need to spend in a month in terms of this bill. So I do have a guide that guides me in terms of, no matter how much I make, this is how much I have committed to spending. Example, on things like leisure, as we said, Dar es Salaam will give you everything. Like I know this is how much, and then there's that emergency fund. Musa's getting married, like I have a limit, like this is the amount I can spend maybe in a month for such community expenses. I have a limit in terms of like clothing, leisure, and everything. So I do have a set of things that I've listed, which I think it's a financial advice I got, that you should know how much you need to survive in a month, because that guides you on how much you need to make in a year and how much you need to charge and how much, like where you allocate your funds. And then later, the rest that doesn't like is left from there, you put it in a saving.
I can never spend my emergency fund to pay for someone married.
Okay.
For me, I would think that would be very financially bad.
Yes.
Yeah. So, what financial mistakes do people make in Dar es Salaam, especially youth that you have seen as a banker?
Taking a loan to buy a car.
Oh, yeah.
People really do that.
A lot of people.
Wow.
I have friends who've done that. I wish them all the best. But yeah, a lot of people do that.
Yeah, the worst I've heard was people taking loans to go to a vacation.
Wow.
Okay, that's worse. That beats what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what mistake have you made personally? The worst financial mistake that you've ever made, maybe before you're a banker.
I think I wouldn't call it as a mistake. I would say more of a missing an opportunity.
Okay.
I think before being a banker, I was I was not a risk taker.
Okay.
I was very shy. I was shy away from investments because I'd rather have my money, seeing my money in my account, which is a very traditional way of thinking, but yeah, than putting it somewhere. I'm not sure of how that would go, that investment would go, right?
Mm-hmm.
But once I moved this side of town, that's the way to go. Like, if you're not investing as a banker, what are you doing, right? Mm-hmm. Given the EVPs that are being that are there as from a human resource point of view. But so I think I was more stuck up in investing some things that I wish I would then. Probably I would be in a better better position than I am now.
Okay. How about you, Nkya?
Yeah, actually, I think I'm still on that mistake, actually.
Yeah.
I don't invest much.
Yeah.
I even have an appointment on Monday with my younger sister. She's heavy on finance, so she's walking me through on investment. So I think that's something I do. But I think for me, the biggest financial mistake I have done is loaning friends. I feel I am not an institution. There are institutions that are certified to offer loans. I think it's important we learn that friendship and money are two things different, but also if it happens, there should be a professional way, because that's different. So I think I've done that. It has destroyed friendships, and I've learned people's habits as well. When you loan them money, when they come in need. So I think that's something we should all look at. That if you need a loan, go to Absa. Okay. If you really need a loan, and like as you said, people would get loans for things they don't really need, but because the pressure of the city, there's a party happening, there's this thing happening this weekend, somebody wants the money, they just call you, you're like, yeah. And then you hear you have suffered making that money. Then you hear them, you see them on Instagram popping bottles and having fun. I'm like, that's my money. So that tortures me, because again, when you look at how much you've worked hard in a city like Dar, and then you see you've made that decision to help this person, but that person is doing it for something that wasn't necessary. So I think that's some of the things. And again, it reflects on my life as well. When I can't afford something, there's a reason I can't afford it. I would work hard to afford it. So example is a car. I don't have a car. I would not take a loan to get a car. There isn't that need, to be specific. It's not really something that I really need to survive. So things like that.
Okay, let's say I'm your friend, and
you
I've
are my
seen
friend,
you.
Musa.
Yes, I've seen you. Just a scenario. Yeah. And I've seen you having a lot of money. Let's say you just got paid, and I come to you like, Nkya, can you please lend me 1 million?
How did you see I've got a lot of money? Why are you in my business? But yeah, I would say again, I think that's another thing as well. So things like your finance should be more personal. It isn't something you just open up or share to anyone, because again, as human beings, when you see an opportunity, like you're my friend, you see I've made millions, and I'm like bragging, oh, I've made millions. Definitely, you would want to tap into that that income. So it depends. Again, as a friend, I think I would know you really need that 1 million. If I'm a good friend. If you just see me, or maybe like we haven't spoken for 2 months, and you call me, you're saying 1 million, I'm like, bro, unfortunately, I don't, because that would happen. Like, as again, friendship is beyond than just like calling and everything. It's being present in your life, being present in my life. Not just maybe we follow each other on social media and then that's it, and we call each other friends. We went to the same school, we call each other friends. So ideally, as a friend, I would know why you need that 1 million. And again, would perhaps sit together and analyze that need. And together we might come up with a conclusion and understanding that you maybe don't need 1 million, you just need 200,000. And as a friend, I wouldn't give you as a loan. Maybe I would help you because I would see this is really a need. Example, it's a funeral, it's something that is really unplanned for. But you're telling me you need 1 million, or there's this gig, blah, 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 there's this trip you want to be part of. You feel like, I'm like, bro, no.
Taking a loan to buy a car is one of the worst financial mistakes that you can make. So with that being said, what's the best way to use a loan so that you can be financially well?
Maybe the banker should start.
Yes.
I would say, in my opinion, I'd say take a loan to invest into something that will give you returns, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, take a loan to buy treasury bonds, for example.
Okay.
So you're secured. You know that in the 6 months I'll get a coupon, and this will help me at least really pay back my loan, right?
Okay.
And then the beauty is that even after you're done with your loan, you still have an asset there for you, right?
Okay.
As opposed to taking a loan and then buying a liability, and then in the end of the day, that liability will cost you. So I'd definitely suggest that take a loan to buy an asset for yourself.
How about you, Nkya?
Yeah, I tap into that as well.
Okay.
I haven't taken a loan yet, but I
Okay.
think if I was to take a loan, it would be something, for example, investing. But I think the one thing that people overlook is understanding the conditions of the loan as well.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it might be good, it might be quick, it might be getting that loan to do something, but the conditions,
Yeah.
speaking about the interest rate and everything, think about, this interest rate, yeah, my financial terms here. But
Okay.
yeah, so it's important to understand the conditions of that loan, because sometimes you might commit yourself to something that would torture you and haunt you, and you might not be able to achieve. At the end of the day, you see people's houses are being auctioned, people's cars, people's everything. So understanding the conditions is very important as well.
You know, we talked about Dar es Salaam being a city of opportunities. A lot of people come from Arusha, Mwanza, Mbeya to Dar es Salaam to seek for better lives. So currently, in your perspective, what's the hidden business opportunity that the youth can engage in?
Oh, I would say I didn't know content creation and like digital content creation was an opportunity,
Yeah.
which is becoming now my main job. So I think tapping into the technology sector,
Yeah.
because there are so many hidden opportunities in tech, and I think that's something we need to look at. Being a Tanzanian, we aren't really exposed to a lot of technological advancement in terms of understanding the tech world in general.
Yeah.
So I think that's an area I feel like there's so many opportunities. We're seeing a lot of startups are starting now in Tanzania that are being accelerated. I think even Absa has something about ideas, Wazo Challenge. So I think there's opportunities like that. So example, you would meet Wazo Challenge if you have an Instagram account and go to the Absa page. So we have a lot of access to resources that are need technology to access them. So example, like a smartphone, internet, etc. So with that same smartphone, there's a world of opportunities that you don't know. And I think in Dar es Salaam is where you are able to practice that. So being in the city, meeting Absa, meeting all these brands through technology allows you to get that knowledge. So she spoke about treasury bonds. Now there's a lot of, I think, apps that you could actually do that. So I feel like there's a lot of opportunities there that people need to tap into.
Coming to an end, this podcast is called Make Your Own Destiny podcast. So what does it really mean for you to make your own destiny? Starting with you, and then we'll follow with Abby.
It's a tricky one. What does it mean making my own destiny? I think, I don't know.
How are you making your own destiny?
I would say I'm not limiting myself based on who I am, where I'm from. I think I believe my destiny is more, and I'm not limiting myself to access the more in me. So one, I always put myself out there, trying everything, getting exposed to a world that maybe I don't know. I think curiosity has helped me shape the direction in life. And again, trying, failing, And at the end of the day, I hope one day I'll reach to a point and say like, oh, this is my destiny.
Since you sat here, the more I look at you, the more I see Cenat.
Yeah.
It's Cenat.
I should ask my dad, but yeah, I get that a lot, especially with the hair. But yeah, you know Cenat?
No.
You should. I should show you after this. Yeah.
Cenat is I think he's the number one streamer in the US, if not in the world.
Oh, okay.
In the world, yeah.
Did it inspire your dreads, or is it?
No, I'm getting that comparison from last year. I knew him because I would see his content online, but I think once my dread got longer, that's when a lot of people would always like resemble us. But no.
How about you, Abigail? How are you making your own destiny?
I think I'm super aligned to Willy's response, right? I think for me, owning your growth, but also having that sense of the attitude, always being open to learn, not always being humility, right? Always being open to learn, embracing change, because especially things that you can control, right? But again, picking yourself up when you fall, because sometimes things don't happen the way you intend them to. But it's not where you go, but rather how you go about it. And I believe that the journey that you go through also is part and parcel of your destiny. It makes you who you are at the end of the day. So I think it's just attitude and staying positive along the way.
We have come to the end of our episode. I'm very interested in talking to Willy about content creation, about just growing your digital accounts, your Instagram, YouTube. As I can see, you have a lot of followers on Instagram. So if you guys are interested, we'll do an episode, just me and Willy. So just comment down below, Willy, if you want to see that episode. We just talk about how to be a content creator and what opportunities that you can find just by creating content. As you have seen right now, Willy, just from content, he's working with a big bank such as Absa Bank. So if you're interested, just comment down below, Willy. And we also have a plan with Absa Bank that every month we should have at least one episode where we'll be breaking down the products from Absa Bank. So if you're interested in that as well, just comment down below, Absa. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram. You follow Will on Instagram. I'll put his account down below, and I'll put Absa details, Absa Dar City Marathon details, and also Abigail details. So if you guys want to connect with them, then you'll find all the details down in the description. With that being said, see you on the next episode.